Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another. I'll keep saying that Kevin Awakening. Welcome to another spiritual awakening with Oladele and Kehinde Dosunmu. Excuse me. Obviously, because we do so many podcasts, so there's so many titles. So just bear with us on that one. I'll keep mixing it all up. Okay, this is just a follow up to our weekly podcast, our weekly broadcast in terms of African, I'd say, spiritual awakening. As former Christians, and we came away from Christianity because we realized that Christianity, is not where the connection with our Creator lies. We just realized that our spirituality is built into us by our Creator. It doesn't lie or doesn't belong to religion. Basically, is what we're trying to say. So every human being that was created by God has a spiritual connection to God directly. And this is something that we realize. This is something that's made us get away from religion, because we realized that spirituality has nothing to do with religion. It's just something that God has given every human being. And the moment you understand that, then like the religion do, they kind of hover over it, thinking, Christianity says, through me you get to God. Islam says, through me you get to God. Judaism says, through me you get to God. So basically, you have all these religions who have a monopoly over God. When there's only
have a middleman, isn't it?
They have a monopoly over God, and there's only one God. So how can it be that everyone has a monopoly, and every religion is fighting each other, seeking for people's attention to get to God, when God basically has given us the direct connection, direct link to Him through our spirituality, which has nothing to do with religion. That's an overview of where we're coming from. If you're more than welcome to disagree with our views, but after being in the church for so many years, this is what we've come to realize that what religion is doing is basically dividing us amongst ourselves. Basically, it's not holding us together; it's creating division. Because the Christians would do theirs, the Islam would do theirs, the Jews would do theirs, and then we have the Hindu. We have all these religions. So everybody has their own kind of monopoly in terms of little cliques. In terms of basically, it's my way to God. Whereas none of it makes sense, because there's only one Creator and there's only one humanity, and God has given us direct access to it. So that's an overview of where we're coming from, just to recap on that. And also we talked about Abrahamic religions capable of love. And as we said last week, once we dissected the whole thing, we came to the conclusion that because these religions came into existence through violence, and so many other ways, that they had to force themselves on us for them to exist. Which God would want you to promote a religion by killing people and forcing it on people, for you then to actually communicate with it?
With the same God that lives in every single one of us.
And like we said, there's the same God that actually lives in every single human being. So these religions perpetrate evil to have the kind of monopoly over humanity, which makes no sense. And the Creator that I look up to, or that I communicate with, doesn't work that way. Maybe the Christian God does, maybe the Islam God does, but the Creator that I know is not of evil. So evil has not come through God, but has come through religion to humanity. Okay, Kehinde.
Okay, so the topic, like you said today.
Today's topic. So basically, we're going to conclude on what we were talking about. It's basically love, but the conclusion is: do we really need religion to show love?
To show love, Which I believe, I would say no to that, because, like we mentioned, if we refer to the video that we did last week, we said every single human being is capable of love, because God is love. And if you come from God, that means you have love in you. So you are capable, every human being is capable of actually exercising that love. So you don't need anyone to even tell you what is right from wrong. So you have it built in you. So like you said, when it comes to religion, we don't need religion to love one another. We don't need religion to connect with our Creator, because we're spiritual being. So we have that built in us.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the love we're talking about as well, we don't need religion to actually manifest that love that we're talking about. I think if we refer to the Bible, like we normally do, we look into the Bible and we go into.
Sorry, Kehinde. We're referring to the Bible because it basically is good to point out what the scriptures say. What the scripture says, because I personally have kind of controlled the Bible in the garbage bin, but obviously it's a reference point for those
to let people know, where we're coming from.
So basically, that's why we're reading it.
And because as well, most people, if I say most people, maybe should we say, okay, 60-50% of the population actually are Christian.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense. That's why she's referring to it, for you to just to emphasize it,
to the Bible as well. So that's why we said, okay, let's refer to the Bible.
Mm.
So I'm reading Luke 6, chapter 6, and this verse 31. It says, "Do to others as you would have them do to you."
Mm.
I mean, this is a simple phrase. Do to others as you would have them do to you. So if we say we have love, like the so-called religious people always say, that show love to one another, but at the same time, we're doing the opposite of that. If you don't want other people to do wrong to you, why do wrong to others? If you don't want other people to mess you up, to oppress you, why oppress others? So these are the questions that you and I have been, been battling with. That, okay, so if as a religious people that always promote love, we love one another, God loves you, love your fellow human being, love does not hate, love does not envy, all these things that that's in the scriptures. If you really do know that, why don't you exercise those love? That why go the opposite? Or is it easy for us to just say the word love and not practice the love? And that was why we concluded last week that are we really capable of showing this love? Or what does love mean? Why do we say love one another? Are we saying then, okay, maybe consider one another? Because I then say last week that, why not just consider one another? Just consider your fellow human being. Like we read in the scripture that says, do to others as you would have them do to you, because you don't want other people to oppress you, like I said, to hate you, to kill, to rape, to do. So if you don't want that, why are you doing wrong to others? Why is it so easy to go to war, to kill, to steal, to hate one another? Why is racism so easy to come to being? So all these things that we believe that the more the Christian manifest, the religious setting, increase, it's as if the more hatred actually manifests. So these are the questions that I'm struggling with. I don't know what you struggling with.
In terms of struggling, I'm not struggling with nothing, because for me, there's clarity in my mind in terms of what I see, and what after all these years. And after so many years of critical thinking, me personally, I've come to the conclusion that in terms of love, there's no gray area. Love is inbuilt in us. So you don't need a book to tell you to love anybody. Yeah. You don't even need a book to tell you that. As long as you have that spiritual connection in you, then love is inbuilt in you. And the capability to love people, then it's up to you, because you know right from wrong.
Yeah.
Your spirit tells you when you're doing particular things, but they're not right.
Wrong. Yeah.
If you're doing evil to people, your spirit tells you. That's inbuilt in you. That has nothing to do with a book.
Absolutely.
So, right from wrong is basically it's a natural process that's ingrained in every humanity.
Yes.
Even a little kid knows when they're doing right from wrong. They have never read the Bible, but they know.
They know.
Intuitively, they do know what they're doing.
Yes.
So if a little kid can pick that up and know that, so what about the adults?
Yes.
So why would you need a book to tell you that killing persons is an evil? Because your spirit is going to tell you that what you're about to do, even if you do it, what you're about to do, you're gonna you hesitate before you do something. You do evil anyway. Yeah, something that's going to tell you that don't do that. But obviously, evil carries on because some people are just capable of doing evil anyway because it doesn't matter what. But they know that what they're doing is not right.
Yes.
So a Bible or Quran you don't need those to tell you that. So in that sense, religion is irrelevant.
Yeah.
So what we then need to do is tapping into our spiritual consciousness and basically do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Yeah.
Or what do you think?
Yeah. The way I see it is, for love to manifest, I think there are some few things that needs to be done. There should be accountability.
Yeah, I agree.
There should be consequences.
Yeah,
if
I agree.
anybody does wrong, and there should be judgments.
Yeah.
So judgment starts from here. There's nowhere else the judgment will. God would not judge you. We are the judge and the jury.
So you said accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Consequences.
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 And the third one?
And judgment. We need to judge one another.
Judgment.
So if you say, okay, let's exercise love and maybe someone did wrong, what do you do? There should be consequences for doing wrong. So that because you can't just say, oh, love one another. When you do wrong, nobody will judge you on that. Then you said, okay, all I have to do is then go to God and say, oh God, forgive me of all my wrong, of all my sins.
I'm a miserable offender.
I'm a miserable offender. And believe that, okay, because you've actually what's it called? Pray to God or confess your sin to God. Then that's it. All is okay then. Okay. So nobody should judge you on what you've done wrong. So then there won't be love, because your continuous way of life then becomes, oh, there's no consequence. So next time I do wrong, I'll just go to God, confess my sin, and then that's it. Then again, you repeat the same cycle. So when you have this love, like you said, we want this love to manifest. When you have those three things that we mentioned, accountability, consequences, and judgment, I think I believe love will start manifesting, because there's a consequence for you doing wrong. So then you think before you do. Like we said in the Bible that we read, if you don't want others to mess you up, then you won't mess them up. So, but when you do that, then there should be consequence. Then there should be judgment. Then someone should say, okay, should correct you that, no, what you did here is wrong. Because only we can judge each other. Nobody else is going to do that. And I believe, Oladele, that is why all these atrocities keep happening, because nobody is accountable. There's nobody's correcting anyone, because the only very thing that, like I said, we say is, God forgive me, and that's it. I've made my peace with God, and so God has forgiven me.
And we've heard that so many times. These top pastors and whatever, and they would do these horrible things, and they will get away with it. Even the whole congregation will forgive him.
Oh yes,
despite the fact that they've done so many bad things.
Yes.
And like Kehinde said, accountability starts with you and I.
Yeah.
Because we need to hold each other accountable. There's no everything. They say that the heaven and hell. Even I don't believe that. I think the heaven and hell is on earth, because consequences need to happen here. This is why we are on earth as humans. God has put us here to do the right thing. To be the ones to, So if people around you do the right thing, we need to hold them accountable.
Yes.
Make sure there's consequences, and make sure that we hold them. There's judgment.
Yeah.
And judgment comes from us.
Yes. Nobody else is going to judge.
We have to stop them. Like Kehinde said, Christians and Muslims will do things, and they will go and pray.
Yeah.
And there's no accountability in terms of what they've done.
Yeah.
And if you don't deal with issues, guess what? It festers.
Yeah. It stays.
It festers. It doesn't go away. So the more you do that, it stays in you, and it gets bigger and bigger, because you're basically covering it up with Band-Aid. You're not dealing with what's been done, the root cause of what's done. Why did you do what you're doing? You're not dealing with it.
Yeah, because you're not.
Because you're not dealing. There's no accountability. There's no consequence. There's no judgment for what you're doing.
So you continue,
and it carries on. And then that's basically how these pastors will do these silly things, where they will kill, rape, and do all these things, because they have these issues with them that they're not dealing with.
Yes. It could be weaknesses.
Every human has a we all have a weaknesses.
Strength as well.
But if you don't deal with the things that hold it, that's messing you up inside, it will fester.
Continue. We get stronger. It will continue
in you.
Grow,
there's no consequences, and you praying it away.
No, it's not going to.
It doesn't deal with it.
No.
So, in as much as you're trying to hold down that beast in you, eventually it comes out.
Yeah.
So you could be a pastor or imam or whatever you are. As long as you have it, because you're human, it's going to come out.
Yeah. And you excuse it as well. What you do, then you excuse whatever you do.
And then you excuse it. And then the church will forgive you. But guess what? You could have raped somebody's daughter in the church.
Oh, they will say, but...
So what are the people, the parents of the kids, or the lady that you raped, how did they deal with that?
No.
Do you think they're going to forgive you?
No, they will say, God has forgiven me, so who are you then to judge?
Those people, that's why there's justice. That's meant to be justice on this earth. We need to hold each other accountable for those things.
Hatred, that is why the evil seems to manifest.
It carries on, but because there's no consequences for what we do. And like we said last week, I'm gonna go back to our way of our African way, our African spirituality. You can call it demonic what you like, but for me, our ways are not demonic. That's who we are. We need to accept who we are, good or bad. Obviously, the evil, the bad, we can cast aside, but the ones that work for us, we need to uphold. We need to uphold. And in those days, I'll keep referring to those days. I wasn't there, but we still have people who can tell us history. And the mother can tell, she can tell us stuff that people do things, they never get away with it because they know there's consequences for their actions. Our spirituality does not allow you to get away with things. Like I said last week, the moment we embraced Islam, Christianity, Judaism, or all the isms, then we got into deep problems. Because all they do is just pray the sins away, pray the sins away, don't do nothing about it, and then pray to God, and consequently look at our world today.
And I think they forgot that the very God we're praying to lives in us. Like we just said earlier on, that God has already given us.
We are. You know what? I can categorically tell you that we are God, because everything you need, God has empowered you. It's given to you.
You already have it in you. You don't need to look to the outside world to tell you exactly how to behave or not to be. You have it in you. And that is why, like we just said, that it's easy to excuse all these things when you do something wrong. Then you have to go to the Bible to then say, okay, how did God say I should act today? How did God say I should...
Make that make sense. And then you refer to the Bible for an instruction. When the instruction is already in you, which you know. And then people look to this manual called the Bible to see how they're going to react. Guys, don't forget, the Bible is only just 500 to 600 years old. We humans existed way before then.
Close to 1 million years.
We existed. And you can't tell me that the ways of our forefathers are evil ways. Because in their time, the evil that we see today never existed.
No.
Obviously, there was wars, but compared to what we're going through now,
no.
It's no comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. So how...
In conclusion, because of time.
Remember, because we were saying then, what then do we do when it comes to love then? How then do we manifest this love then?
I think you did say you did say last week. And my answer to that is, like Kehinde said, consider one another. Anything that's gonna negatively impact somebody beside you, don't do it. Do not do it.
Because you don't want it to be done to you as well. You don't want
to. Do not do it.
Coming to you.
Be in business, and this is one thing I'll say this, and I'll say this here. People think that making immense profit at the expense of other people is a good thing. It's not.
They call it prosperity.
They will call it prosperity.
Blessing. That's a blessing. From God.
Making a 60%, 70% profit over something, and you think it's love? It's not love. Basically, what you're doing is basically greed. that's not prosperity, because basically it's it's at the expense of other people.
Yeah.
So that's my conclusion is basically, whatever you do, think about how is it going to directly impact the people around you. If you know it's going to impact them negatively and it's going to have a severe burden on them, don't do it.
Don't do it.
But if you can't think that and you just do what you're doing, thinking, yeah, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna make money and whatever, then I'm sorry, you lack love. Basically,
that's not love.
Then I'll say you're demonic.
Yeah, that's
not love.
Then that's greed, like we said. That's oppression. That's so many things.
Yeah, because the world we live in today is driven by greed.
Yeah.
That we said in the past. It's driven by greed, and our actions is basically what's leading to the lack of love.
Yeah.
Because there's, like Kehinde kept saying, there's no consideration, there's no consequences, no accountability, no judgment in terms of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we just tend to get away with it. But my solution or my conclusion is, before you do anything, think, how does it impact the people around you?
Consider their own.
If you can do that, then we'll make progress. And you do not need religion to do that. Kehinde, your conclusion, please.
Yeah, like you just said as well, that we should just think about, what we do before we do it. Consider one another's feelings, see how it will, damage, them emotionally, physically, spiritually. If you have those things in mind, then whenever you want to do wrong, that will actually stop you. Yeah. But because so many people don't think, I think there's no critical thinking.
We don't even think about it.
We don't think about it.
We do these things without even thinking of the consequences of the fellow human being.
Because we're so selfish, the greed, everything is there for us to just take. Nobody wants to give. But the moment you look at yourself and say, okay, I don't want to do this to others because I don't want it done to me. So that would definitely stop you from doing wrong, from exercising that love or consideration, if we're going to put it that way. So that's my own conclusion on love.
Okay, we're going to end this one here. Okay, we talked about love. It probably might come back another time, but for today, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I'll be back on